Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney, and I'm a part-time artist with a full-time job, and right now we are starting week 10 of The Artist's Way. So this week is about recovering a sense of self-protection. So, reading the chapter, as with past weeks, I was like, not really seeing the connection between the content of the chapter and self-protection. Like, what does that mean? I'm gonna need clear definitions on this. But some of the things that she talks about with self-protection are figuring out what your blocks are. So blocks, the way she uses it, it almost seems like vices, because she talks about drugs, alcohol, other like addictions that one could have. And then she also talks about work and being like a workaholic. And I can kind of see that perspective. But in general, for me at least, work is not a thing that I can like avoid or choose to put down or demand they pay me more. That was a thing. Yeah, so sometimes this book like just seems like it's coming from a very privileged place. Which it probably is, but that's we'll debate that another time. But with work things, it is what it is. I hear what she's saying about like working too much, but you know what? We still gotta pay the bills. Then some of the other blocks that she talks about are not really things that pertain to me. Alcohol is not a thing I consume a lot of at all. Just personally, it's just not a personal preference, not a thing I reach for. So I was trying to think of like what are my blocks, and they're not so much, I wouldn't call them a block, but I would call them a counterproductive choice, maybe. So one of the things that I've noticed is I need to be more mindful about the media that I'm consuming because I'm interested to see if that has an impact on my artwork, my mood, my creativity. So as you can tell from the channel name, books are a big part of what I do. I make bookshop paintings, and then I also am an avid reader. And right now, for like the last probably 3 months, I have been on a hardcore thriller, like murder mystery kick. And those are like some dark topics sometimes. And I know for me personally in the past, like especially in like, I'm gonna date myself here, like grad school and undergrad, if I like watched too much Grey's Anatomy, I would get depressed. So I do know that like what I am consuming media-wise, like music, audiobooks, podcasts, like it can have an impact on my mood. So as much as I don't want to, I think for this week, I'm going to not read or listen to any murdery, thriller, true crime content and see how that impacts my creative process, my workflow, my time in general. So I don't know, that may be a block for me. We're gonna experiment with that this week. We're gonna put down the true crime, murder, thriller, mystery things, and instead I'm going to mindfully try to consume more art-focused content or just like happier content. And I really have to stick to digital book formats this week because I have yet another trip. So we'll be taking off in a couple days for Canada, actually. That's the plan at this current moment in time for recovering a sense of self-protection. Going to try to see what media influences do to my creative process. But it is Monday afternoon right now, and I need to get some video editing done. And I did actually do a little bit of sketchbook work this morning. I did not film any of it. Then this afternoon, after I get the video editing done, or as far as like I need to get for my Monday video editing goals, then I will definitely be doing some knitting on the couch tonight. So let's go get the rest of our work done for the day and see if we can work in a little bit more sketching time. Well, it's Tuesday. Apparently this is what we're doing today. I think he knows that I'm leaving tomorrow. Because he's being extra snuggly. Hi, hello, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, week 10. I'm pretty sure. So last night, I was trying to go to sleep, and does anyone else do this? Like, you have all of your best thoughts in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep sometimes? I was having lots of thoughts about little tiny painting projects that I want to do. So I have these little pieces of balsa wood that's very thin, like super thin. So if you've ever had like a wooden bookmark, that's probably what it's made out of. But I was thinking I would like to get more of this, kind of cut them like that in that thin shape. And I thought of several different things I would like to paint on them. So I have done one. So it's this, I think the camera's focusing on it. It's this little hammer. And so this wood is from my dad's workshop. I painted this right after he passed away. It's one of his hammers. So very special, obviously staying with me forever. But I was thinking of other things like this that I would like to do in a similar fashion and how I would like to frame them and everything. But I was just having a ton of ideas. So I'm gonna try to make that project happen. But that's part of what I wanted to get out of the artist's way, is to have that kind of creative flow where I'm having a lot of ideas. And for me, that like ideation comes in like fits and starts, which is fine. Like it's like once a month, I'll just have like a bunch of ideas and I write them down. So I have kind of a running list of possible future projects. And going back to like the first, I don't even know if it was the first chapter or if it was the intro to The Artist's Way, but she talks about how this process makes it so that when you sit down to create, it just happens. Like, you don't have to be in the mood, you don't have to feel like it. And that would be amazing. I would like to not have to like be in the mood to do things, but I don't know, we're 10 weeks in. And I don't know if that is going to be a reality for me, partially because of the neurospicy brain that feeds on new and novel. So like, I'm also a quilter, I'm a knitter, I have all these hobbies. And in the past, especially with quilting, I have bought all of the fabric for a quilt, was totally gonna make this quilt, have a pattern, we're ready to go. And then I have no interest in making it. Like zero. I don't even want that quilt anymore. Over it. So that kind of happens sometimes with my art ideas, but I don't know. Has anyone else gone through The Artist's Way? And have you found that, especially if you're like neurodivergent, that sometimes it's not about the creativity, it is about being in the mood or like having the interest? So I don't know that The Artist's Way is ever going to solve that problem for me. And I'm just like, I'm coming to a place of accepting that. And also just accepting the way that my brain works is that sometimes I do have to be motivated by the new and the novel, and I might not always be in the mood, and that's okay. But I am happy that I am at a place right now where I'm having a lot of really fun ideas to me, and I would like to start on those, but that's not going to happen this week. And this is where we come into the danger zone, because if I don't start on those things right now and I'm really excited about them, that's how we run the risk of losing interest. I can't do them this week because I have to get on a plane tomorrow at like 5 a.m. to Alberta, Canada, the other side of the continent from where I am right now. So this week, we're gonna be doing some travel sketching for sure. I need to go pack, but I can't because there's a baby cat in my lap. No, I need to pack. I need to figure out what knitting project I'm taking, probably the sweater, but I'll have to transfer that to a different bag. And then I need to pack my sketching supplies, figure out which ones I'm taking, also pack a book because I know I'll have some like downtime for reading, especially at night. And I have been trying to be more mindful about what I consume and not consume things that are going to block me. I did slip up already today. I was walking downtown and clicked on my podcasts and immediately was like, oh, I was listening to that series on that murder. Let's turn that one on. Yeah, no, I had to stop myself and turn on a different one. So I actually started listening to an episode from Andy J. Pizza's podcast, and it's about finishing big projects and like follow through. So I hope that is helpful because I do have some bigger projects. Like I want to do all 24 bookstores in Vermont. We're slowly getting there. But I would like to hear what he says about that follow through and like finishing those projects. So I turned that on instead. We're avoiding the things that can possibly block us, theoretically, at least in my case. So that's going well, but I don't know what to do about this cat in my lap, but I need to go pack. So I'm gonna go try to do that, and I will probably catch back up with you at the airport tomorrow. Okay, buddy, we gotta turn off the camera. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Well, oh no. Oh. Oh no. Good morning, and welcome to Questionable Hotel Lighting. As you just saw, I did my morning pages, had a little snafu with the fountain pen. Flying with fountain pens is always a hazard, but it's fine. So I had a really busy travel day yesterday. I left my house around 4 a.m. to get to the airport, did all of the airport things, hopped on the plane, and landed in Chicago. I had 12 minutes between deplaning and my next flight boarding. So it was a packed day, about 6 hours of flying, but I landed in Calgary, and then we had to take a shuttle from Calgary up to Banff National Park, which is where I am at now. So I'm here for a work event, but I got in yesterday around 3 o'clock Mountain Time, but it was already like 6 o'clock in Eastern Time in my stomach, and I had only managed to grab a quick little breakfast at the airport, so I was starving. There is a cute little restaurant that has really nice views off of the back of the hotel. There's great views on every side of the hotel, to be honest. We're in Banff National Park, but I grabbed lunch dinner and sat outside and sketched a little bit until it started raining. So I didn't get a lot of footage, but I will pop in the sketch that I did here. And I was so like in the zone, I did not notice that some of my coworkers had arrived and they were like yelling at me. So met up with my coworkers, and then I actually have one coworker that lives in this part of Canada. So they got here and were interested in going on a little walk in Western Canadian. So I was like, absolutely, I have been on a plane for 6 hours and then a shuttle bus for 2.5. I would love to get some steps in. And it was only about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So we headed up one of the trails near our hotel. It was Sulphur Mountain. And there's actually a gondola you can take to go up to the top, to the lookout decks. But that was $80, and I am not paying $80. It looks like it would be fun and cute, but I don't want to pay that much money. So we hiked. I changed into some hiking gear, and it was a little bit rainy, but we hiked the, I'm going to say close to 3.5 miles from our hotel all the way to the top. The trail itself is 5.7 kilometers, and our hotel's a little bit down from that. And it's about 2,200 feet of elevation gain over those 3.5 miles. So it was pretty straight up. But it was a gorgeous trail. And when we got to the top, there's a viewing platform, and there's also like little shops. I grabbed a sweatshirt and some stickers. But after I came out of the little shop, someone said that there was a mountain sheep. So there was a mountain sheep hanging out at the top of this mountain. He had just kind of wandered up out of the woods and then he wandered back away, but that was so cool. I am not much of a zoo person. I love seeing animals in nature in their wild habitats. So I was thrilled by that. So we headed back down the mountain, another 3.5 miles down, and I immediately crashed into bed. So that was a pretty fantastic first day in Western Canada. Today is kind of a low-key day. It's actually pouring rain right now. It's beautiful, but we don't have any work meetings, but I do have several things I need to get done for work. But the theme of this week is that self-protection. And so far I've been doing good with my goal of not listening to the darker media. And I think that's going well. I think that might be helping. I don't know. But I also think like the scenery and where I'm at right now is really helping me want to like dive into my creative process. So in the spirit of self-protection, I'm not going to do a lot of filming. I definitely won't be filming Friday because that's a really big meeting day. But I'm going to go down to the hotel cafe and sit and sketch for a little bit and then meet up with my coworkers for breakfast. So let's go do that and spend some time doing the creative things and just take a little break from filming and working. But I'll catch up with you later. Welcome to the last day of week 10. So far, I have not read or watched any of the murder shows, and I think it really has been helping. I have done a lot more painting and sketching, and I mean, I'm also in like the most beautiful place, so there's been a lot of inspiration, but so far I think that's been going well. So that might be something that I take away from this week and continue. But I'm getting ready to get on a bus to go up to Lake Louise and Lake Moraine. So I'm super excited. I'm going to try to do some sketching, but it is raining, so we'll have to see how that goes. I will catch up with you later and we'll wrap up week 10. So this week, leaning into that theme of self-protection, I didn't spend as much time in front of the camera filming, and I really spent a lot of time creating. Even though I was super busy with my meetings at work, any downtime I had, I got out my sketchbook. So I ended up with 4 or 5 new pieces in my sketchbooks, and I will have those in an upcoming sketchbook tour. But it was really amazing to be able to spend that time creating and not worrying about anything else, just really protecting my time. And I also think that listening to what the chapter says about paying attention to what the blocks are, I think for me it is some of that darker media like true crime podcasts and things like that. So just mindfully maybe putting those down from time to time. But overall, I really enjoyed week 10. And I hope you're having a great week wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. So this week is about recovering a sense of self-protection. Okay. That's the plan right now for this week for self-protection. What am I doing? Busso. All right. So I have these little pieces. I'll try to do this with a cat in my lap of balsa wood. So it's very, very thin.